Do y'all remember Jim Jones? Who liked Jim Jones and Chrissy? Let me know if y'all know what I'm talking about, because I know I have a lot of older people that watches me. They don't follow into all this crap. And trust me, you're not missing nothing. But Jim Jones was a rapper from New York, and he was rapping with the rapper Cameron for years. And he dated this beautiful black woman with a pretty mole on her face named Chrissy for about 15 years. I cut on the internet today. I didn't even know they had broke up. I guess they broke up a few months back. She decided after 15 years and all the buffoonery, she was done with Jim, right? Well,
Stop whatever you're doing, because the reality TV world has just been flipped upside down. Cameras were rolling, voices were raised, and tensions that had been simmering for months finally boiled over in an explosive showdown that no one saw coming. Chrissy Lampkin, the queen of old-school love and hip-hop drama. The woman who built her reputation on keeping it raw, unfiltered, and brutally honest, just unleashed on none other than Brooke Bailey. And let me tell you, this wasn't some petty exchange of words. This was a full-on, gloves-off confrontation that had everyone in the room stunned into silence. Witnesses claim Chrissy's rage didn't come out of nowhere. Brooke had been throwing subtle shade for weeks. Side comments in interviews, slick Instagram posts, and whispers about Chrissy's past that finally hit a nerve. But when the two women came face to face, all that quiet tension detonated into the kind of reality TV gold producers dream about. And the craziest part? It wasn't just words being thrown. Allegedly, tables were slammed, drinks nearly spilled, and security had to step in before things went completely left. One insider swore the moment Chrissy leaned across the table, pointing in Brooke's face. The entire room froze because everyone knew history was being made right then and there. But here's the real kicker. Insiders say this confrontation isn't just about shade or ego. There's a deeper betrayal hiding underneath. Something that connects their personal lives and could tear apart alliances we thought were unbreakable. And trust me, once you hear the receipts, you'll understand why Chrissy lost it. To understand why Chrissy Lampkin snapping on Brooke Bailey shook the room and the internet, you've got to rewind. Because this wasn't just some random blow-up between two reality TV veterans. No, this confrontation had been brewing for months, maybe even years. And when it finally erupted, it was the kind of explosion you could see coming from a mile away. Let's start with Chrissy. If you've been following reality television since the early 2010s, you already know her reputation is legendary. From her unforgettable appearances on Love and Hip Hop, New York, Chrissy carved out a lane as one of the most unapologetically bold women to ever grace the screen. She wasn't afraid to confront her man Jim Jones on national TV. She wasn't afraid to square up with castmates. And she sure as hell wasn't afraid to let the world know exactly how she felt about loyalty, respect, and betrayal. To put it bluntly, Chrissy built her brand on being the woman no one wanted to cross. Then you've got Brooke Bailey, a newer force but just as dangerous. Brooke came up through Basketball Wives, known for her sharp tongue, cutting clapbacks, and the ability to stir drama without breaking a sweat. Over time, she's built her own loyal fan base, the kind that eats up every bit of shade she throws online. Where Chrissy represents the old guard of reality TV authenticity, Brooke represents the new school of Instagram-fueled shade wars. And when those two worlds collide, you can bet it's going to get ugly. So how did we get here? For months, subtle shade had been flying back and forth. Brooke allegedly made slick comments about Chrissy's age during an IG Live, suggesting some women needed to retire from the spotlight gracefully instead of clinging to old storylines. Fans immediately clocked it as a jab at Chrissy, and the clips circulated everywhere. Chrissy, true to form, didn't hold back. In a separate interview, she fired back, saying, "Some of these new girls think throwing shade is the same as having a storyline. But you can't fake respect and you can't fake longevity." The shots were clear, the tension was palpable, and fans were just waiting for the inevitable face-to-face. And then there were the rumors. Multiple blogs began reporting that Chrissy and Brooke's feud wasn't just about words, it was personal. Allegedly, Brooke had gotten too close to someone in Chrissy's circle, someone she trusted. Whether it was a business deal gone wrong, a friendship betrayal, or something even messier. Insiders hinted that Brooke had crossed a line that went deeper than public shade. The whispers added gasoline to an already raging fire. Producers, of course, saw the storm coming. When they arranged for Chrissy and Brooke to be in the same room, cameras ready, they knew they were sitting on potential ratings gold. And the vibe was clear from the start. Neither woman was going to back down. What makes this so intense is the contrast between the two. Chrissy carries the weight of her history in the game, the respect she demands as an OG Brooke. Meanwhile, thrives on shaking up the old hierarchy, proving she doesn't need to bow down to anyone. Their collision wasn't just two personalities clashing, it was two eras of reality. Television fighting for dominance and the buildup. Oh, it was heavy. Leading up to the confrontation, Brooke posted a cryptic Instagram story. Some people's time is up. Ain't nobody scared of you, Grandma. Fans instantly tagged Chrissy, fanning the flames. Chrissy, for her part, posted a picture of herself with the caption, "Legend status can't be bought." Sweetheart, the shots were public, the energy was hostile, and the audience was primed for fireworks. So when the two finally locked eyes, all that history, the subtle digs, the rumors, the online shade came boiling to the surface. According to witnesses, you could feel the tension before either of them even opened their mouths. The air was thick, producers were buzzing, and security was already on high alert. And here's the thing, everyone knew Chrissy doesn't bluff. If she feels disrespected, she will say something. And Brooke, she lives for confrontation, feeding off the drama like it's her oxygen. This was never going to be a calm conversation. It was destined to be an explosion. And that's exactly what happened. Chrissy didn't wait for pleasantries. She didn't bother with niceties. She went straight for Brooke's jugular, unleashing the kind of raw fury that left the entire room frozen. But here's where it gets wild. Chrissy's explosion wasn't just about what Brooke said publicly. It was about something deeper, something personal, something no one expected her to bring up in front of the cameras. And when she did, that's when the real shock hit. The moment Chrissy Lampkin and Brooke finally came face to face was nothing short of explosive. From the second Chrissy walked into the room, her energy was icy. No fake smiles, no forced hugs. Brooke, on the other hand, sat with her chin high, giving that trademark smirk that fans know all too well. It was the kind of smirk that says, "I dare you." And oh, did Chrissy take that dare? Witnesses claim Chrissy wasted no time. She leaned across the table, eyes locked on Brooke, and let out the first verbal strike. "You think you can play with my name and walk away untouched? Nah, baby, you got me twisted." The room froze. Producers shifted nervously, and you could almost hear security inching closer, just in case. Brooke didn't flinch. Instead, she shot back, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "Oh, so now you care about your name. Where was that energy when your man was embarrassing you on national TV?" Gasps erupted across the room. Everyone knew Brooke had crossed a dangerous line. She had gone for the jugular, Chrissy's long and complicated relationship with Jim Jones, for years. Chrissy had been criticized for proposing to him, for waiting on a marriage that never came, for staying through ups and downs. Brooke dragging that history into the fight wasn't just shade. It was nuclear-level disrespect. And Chrissy snapped. She slammed her hand on the table so hard that drinks shook, leaned forward until she was inches from Brooke's face, and shouted, "Don't you ever speak on my man again. You don't know what love is, you don't know what loyalty is, and you damn sure don't know me." The intensity of her voice reportedly made one of the producers drop their clipboard. But Brooke wasn't backing down. She smirked again and fired off the first twist of the night. "Oh, I don't know you. Then explain why your so-called friend was just in my DMs, spilling all your business. You mad at me? Be mad at your circle, 'cause they the ones feeding me your secrets." The room exploded. Gasps, whispers, hands covering mouths. The cameras zoomed in instantly because everyone knew Brooke had just detonated a bombshell. Chrissy's eyes widened, her rage giving way to shock for a split second. Was Brooke bluffing? Or had someone in Chrissy's inner circle betrayed her? Fans watching from leaked behind-the-scenes clips swore they saw Chrissy's face turn pale before she recovered. Her anger boiling over again. She pointed a finger at Brooke and roared, "You a liar. You make a living off stirring up mess. Show the receipts or shut the hell up." And here's where things got even wilder. Brooke reached into her purse and, according to insiders, pulled out her phone. She waved it in Chrissy's face, saying, "Don't tempt me, boo. I got screenshots that'll make you wish you never came for me." The cast screamed. Producers panicked and security moved in closer. But before Brooke could reveal anything, Chrissy lunged forward, nearly knocking over the table. It took 2 security guards to hold her back as she shouted, "You better put that phone down before I break it, and your face. Before I break it, and your face." By this point, the confrontation wasn't just about shade anymore. It was about trust, betrayal, and receipts that could tear Chrissy's world apart. The idea that someone close to her, a friend, a castmate, maybe even someone in her family, could be leaking her secrets too. Brooke sent the drama into overdrive. Fans online immediately went into detective mode. Social media threads popped up with speculation about who the mole could be. Some pointed to old friends who'd fallen out with Chrissy. Others suggested it might be someone from within the cast looking to stir chaos for a storyline. Hashtags like #who, SNITCHED on Chrissy and #Brooke got receipts started trending overnight. But back in the room, the tension hit an unbearable level. Chrissy, still restrained, screamed, "If you so bold, drop the damn screenshots now. Don't play with me, Brooke." Brooke, ever the provocateur, leaned back in her chair and said calmly, "Not yet. Timing is everything." That one line, "timing is everything," became the ultimate cliffhanger. It meant Brooke wasn't bluffing. She had something, and she was saving it for maximum impact. Producers called a break, hoping to cool the situation before it turned physical. But the damage was already done. Chrissy stormed off set, shouting at anyone who would listen, "This ain't over. If she want to play dirty, I'll play dirtier." Meanwhile, Brooke strutted out with a satisfied smile. Her phone clutched in her hand like a weapon she was dying to use. And the fallout. Immediate. Cast members whispered about who could have betrayed Chrissy. Crew members leaked that producers were scrambling to decide whether to let Brooke reveal the receipts on camera or save them for the reunion special. And fans. Fans were eating it up like the juiciest drama they'd ever seen. But here's the kicker. What Brooke hinted at wasn't just about Chrissy's personal life. According to insiders, the secrets involved money, loyalty, and friendships that could implode multiple relationships on the show. If those screenshots came out, it wouldn't just be Chrissy versus Brooke. It would drag half the cast into the fire. And that right there is where the first major twist leaves us. Not just a fight between 2 reality TV heavyweights, but a looming betrayal that could expose everyone in Chrissy's circle. The question now is simple but terrifying. Who really betrayed Chrissy? And how long before Brooke drops the nuclear receipts? The break in filming didn't cool things down, it only fanned the flames. Because when Chrissy stormed off set, red-faced and fuming, and Brooke strutted away, smirking with her phone in hand, the confrontation wasn't over. It had just shifted from the room to the internet, where fans, bloggers, and castmates poured gasoline on the fire. And then came the shocking reveal, one that made everyone realize Brooke wasn't bluffing. The escalation started almost immediately. Within an hour, anonymous gossip pages began posting blurry screenshots, allegedly showing Brooke's phone screen. The images weren't crystal clear, but they seemed to show messages from someone in Chrissy's camp spilling private details about her finances and her relationship with Jim Jones. One of the messages read, "Chrissy struggling to keep up. Jim ain't putting in what y'all think. She covering bills." Another claimed she's still waiting on that ring. He'll never marry her. Fans lost their minds. Was Brooke actually holding on to proof that Chrissy's inner circle had turned on her? Or was this just clever editing to stir the pot? Either way, it worked. The screenshots went viral. The hashtag Chrissy Exposed started trending, and suddenly the narrative shifted. This wasn't just Brooke throwing shade anymore. This was Brooke potentially holding Chrissy's most personal secrets in the palm of her hand. And then, the second bombshell dropped on Instagram Live. Brooke teased her followers by flashing her phone at the camera. "I told y'all I don't talk for nothing," she said with a grin. "Receipts don't lie. I'm just deciding when y'all deserve to see them." The live exploded with viewers, pulling in thousands within minutes. Fans begged her to drop the screenshots, spamming the comments with, "Show it. Drop the bomb, sis. Don't hold back." Meanwhile, Chrissy's response was pure fury. Sources say she went on a rant backstage, calling Brooke a liar and vowing to expose the snake in her circle who had been feeding her information. Castmates tried to calm her down, but Chrissy wasn't having it. "I don't need proof," she shouted. "I know one of these fake Haas friends is talking. But I promise you, when I find out who, it's over, done." But here's where the shocking reveal turned everything upside down. One of the gossip blogs claimed to have the unedited screenshots sent directly from an anonymous source. And in those screenshots, the contact sending Brooke the info wasn't some random associate. It was allegedly a fellow cast member. The name was blurred out, but the writing style and emojis had fans speculating. The internet detectives came alive, comparing typing styles, slang, and even timestamps to figure out who the mole was. Theories flew left and right. Some swore it was a woman Chrissy had recently reconciled with, saying the friendship reunion was just a cover for betrayal. Others claimed it was a longtime ally who was secretly jealous of Chrissy's status as an OG. The tension within the cast grew, unbearable every side eye. Every whisper became suspect now. Producers were salivating. The confrontation had gone from a heated argument to a full-blown mystery. Who betrayed Chrissy? And what exactly was Brooke holding back? Meanwhile, social media turned this feud into entertainment gold. TikTok edits showed Chrissy's most iconic fights over the years, captioned with, "She's about to unleash again." Twitter threads compared Brooke's moves to other reality TV villains, with some crowning her the new queen of messy drama. One viral tweet read, "Brooke Bailey came to snatch Chrissy's crown and she brought screenshots as weapons." But while fans were entertained, insiders whispered that the fallout was real. Chrissy allegedly stopped speaking to half the cast, cutting off friendships until she figured out who was leaking. She refused to film group scenes unless producers promised to reveal the mole. One insider told a blog, "Chrissy feels like she's fighting a war on two fronts, Brooke in her face, and a snake behind her back." And then Brooke raised the stakes even higher on her Instagram story. She posted a cryptic line, "What's done in the dark always comes to light." But the shocking part wasn't the caption, it was the background. Fans swore the blurred image behind her words showed part of a document with Chrissy's name on it. Was it a contract? A bank statement? Something worse? Nobody could tell, but it was enough to send speculation into overdrive. By this point, Chrissy had had enough. She took to her own Instagram Live, visibly furious, declaring, "Ain't no woman alive gonna play with me like this. Brooke can say what she want, but she better keep my name and my business out her mouth before I handle it. OFF camera." Her threat sent shockwaves. With fans speculating whether Chrissy was ready to cross lines, producers couldn't control. And here's the kicker. Just when it seemed like Brooke was bluffing, she dropped a partial receipt. On Twitter, she shared a cropped screenshot showing a conversation with someone labeled sis in the snippet. The person wrote, "Chrissy too busy chasing TV clout. Jim deserves better." Brooke captioned it with, "I told y'all, she ain't who she pretend to be." More coming soon. That one move flipped the narrative again. Fans flooded Chrissy's socials demanding answers. Who was sis? Why were people close to her dragging her behind her back? Was Brooke exposing the truth or just manufacturing chaos? But the worst part? Producers allegedly confirmed that Brooke wasn't bluffing. According to insiders, they had already reviewed the receipts Brooke claimed to have. and they were real enough to be admissible in filming. Which means the day Brooke decides to drop the full set, it won't just embarrass Chrissy, it could destroy her relationships, her alliances. And her image as the unshakable OG, the shocking reveal leaves one burning question. How far will Brooke go? Will she actually release the full receipts and risk nuclear fallout? Or is she dangling them as leverage to control Chrissy and the storyline? Either way, one thing is clear. This confrontation is no longer just a fight. It's a war. And the mole inside Chrissy's circle is the ticking time bomb ready to blow it all apart. By the time Brooke Bailey teased her sis screenshot, the confrontation had officially left the set and infected the culture at large. What started as a clash between two reality TV heavyweights had become a pop culture firestorm. Fans, castmates, celebrities, and even rival franchises couldn't stop weighing in. The fallout wasn't just messy, it was historic. The fans were the first wave. Twitter turned into an absolute battleground, split between hashtag Team Chrissy and hashtag Team Brooke. One fan wrote, "Chrissy paved the way. Put some respect on her name. Brooke just a clout chaser with Wi-Fi." Seconds later, another fired back. "Nah, Chrissy been milking that Jim Jones storyline for a decade. Brooke is the future, and she came with receipts." Hashtags like hashtag Chrissy vs Brooke, hashtag Brooke got receipts, and hashtag Who is Sis trended simultaneously. On Instagram, Chrissy's comments filled with love and support. "Don't let her break you, queen," and "Brooklyn energy always wins. Stay strong." Meanwhile, Brooke's comments were more chaotic, half full of snake emojis, half full of fans hyping her up as the new villainess we deserve. The split was clear. This wasn't just a fight. It was a cultural divide between loyalty to an OG and fascination with a disruptor. Then came the TikToks. Creators flooded For You pages with dramatized reenactments of the confrontation. Some dressed up as Chrissy, slamming tables and screaming, while others impersonated Brooke, waving fake phones with the caption, "Sis said what she said." These clips racked up millions of views, with entire comment sections filled with debates about loyalty, betrayal, and who was really running the show. One TikTok edit cut Chrissy's scream from an old fight with Jim Jones into Brooke's smirk, captioned, "History repeats itself." But what really sent the internet into meltdown was the alleged identity of Sis. Fans went full detective mode. Reddit threads analyzed Brooke's screenshot pixel by pixel, zooming in on typing style and emoji patterns. Some swore it was a castmate Chrissy had recently reconciled with. Others claimed it was someone behind the scenes, like a stylist or business partner. The theories got so wild that even Page 6 reported Chrissy Lampkin's inner circle under suspicion as mole hunt begins. Meanwhile, the cast couldn't stay silent. One unnamed member allegedly told a gossip blog, "Brooke ain't lying. Somebody in Chrissy's camp been talking, and we all know it. She just mad it came out like this." Another went live, carefully avoiding names but saying, "This ain't about loyalty no more. It's about survival." When producers dangle opportunities, people fold. And then the celebrities outside the franchise chimed in. Tamar Braxton tweeted, "Lord, y'all reality girls always exposing each other. What happened to sisterhood?" Nene Leakes, never one to miss messy drama, commented on a Shade Room post. "This tea is piping hot. Hashtag Imsting out though." Even Cardi B weighed in on Instagram Live, laughing and saying, "Chrissy, too real for this? But I ain't gonna lie, Brooke petty as hell. I love it." Industry insiders also started speculating about how this could affect future seasons. Some said Brooke had secured herself a permanent spot by playing the villain perfectly. Others warned that Chrissy might walk off the show altogether, fed up with betrayal not just from Brooke but from whoever leaked her personal business. Blogs ran headlines like, "Will Chrissy quit?" and "Brooke Bailey secures the bag with receipts." But the most dramatic reactions came from the fans who felt betrayed themselves. Longtime Chrissy supporters flooded Twitter with heartbreak. "We grew up watching Chrissy fight for her man, her respect, her crown. Seeing her get stabbed in the back like this hurts." Meanwhile, Brooke's stans were celebrating. She said she had receipts and she delivered. Y'all mad? That's reality TV, baby. And just when the culture couldn't get any louder, another leak hit. A blog posted what they claimed was an unblurred version of Brooke's sis messages. And the name visible at the top shocked everyone, allegedly. It was someone Chrissy had been defending publicly just weeks earlier. If true, it meant the betrayal wasn't just speculation. It was real, and it came from someone Chrissy trusted enough to vouch for. Fans went into absolute meltdown. TikToks dissecting the leak exploded. Twitter nearly crashed under the hashtags. And Instagram lives filled with viewers demanding answers. Some called it the ultimate betrayal. Others claimed it was fake, doctored for clout. But one thing was undeniable. The narrative had shifted again. It wasn't just Chrissy versus Brooke anymore. It was Chrissy versus her own circle. And that's the tragedy of it all. For years, Chrissy built her legacy on loyalty, on fighting to protect her relationships. But now, in front of cameras and the entire world, her loyalty was being tested in the most brutal way possible. Brooke had thrown the first punch, but the betrayal came from within. Which brings us to the cliffhanger heading into the next stage. Will Brooke actually drop the full receipts on camera? Will Chrissy expose them all before the reunion? Or will producers play puppet master and drag this war into an even bigger explosion? Because if this is what happens mid-season, imagine the nuclear fallout waiting at the reunion by the time Brooke Bailey dangled her cropped receipts online. Fans thought they had already seen the peak of this feud. Chrissy storming off set. Brooke teasing sis, castmates whispering about betrayal. It felt like the story couldn't possibly go any further. But the truth is, it was only the beginning. Because what happened next wasn't just shocking. It was nuclear. The final twist started when one of the biggest gossip blogs dropped an exclusive. They had allegedly obtained the full set of Brooke's screenshots. And this time, the name of the mole wasn't blurred. Fans scrolled down and gasped. The messages weren't from some distant associate. They were allegedly from a castmate Chrissy had publicly defended just weeks before. The betrayal stung twice as hard because Chrissy had gone out of her way on camera to shield this woman from attacks, to vouch for her loyalty, and now here were receipts showing that same person venting to Brooke about Chrissy's finances, her relationship, and her reputation in the industry. The internet went ballistic. One tweet summed it up. Damn, it ain't even Brooke that hurt her. It's the person she called family. That's why Chrissy screamed. TikTok edits dramatized the betrayal. Pairing Chrissy's old clips about loyalty with Brooke's smug smile and the exposed messages, fans flooded the mole's socials with fire and snake emojis, calling her the real villain of the season. Back on set, Chrissy reportedly lost it when she heard about the leak. She stormed into production offices demanding to know why producers hadn't warned her. She screamed, "Y'all let me sit next to a snake. Y'all let her feed my enemy and play me on national TV." Security had to be called again when Chrissy allegedly threatened to quit filming altogether unless she got answers. Meanwhile, Brooke doubled down. She went live once more, smirking as usual, and dropped the line that broke the internet. "I told y'all I had receipts. But y'all didn't believe me? Don't be mad at me. Be mad at who's been sitting next to Chrissy this whole time, smiling in her face." That one sentence turned the entire cast upside down. Suspicions spread like wildfire. Alliances shattered. Friends turned into suspects. Everyone was looking at each other sideways, wondering who else might be leaking private information to Brooke. And here's the most chilling part, insiders claim. Brooke still hasn't shown all the receipts. She's allegedly holding back a second set, one that ties not just Chrissy, but multiple cast members into shady conversations. If she drops those, the entire season could implode in ways producers never even planned for. Fans are now split. Some believe Brooke is the new reality TV queen for outsmarting Chrissy and blowing up her circle from the inside. Others say Brooke crossed a line that no cast member should ever cross, breaking the unspoken rule: you fight face to face. Not with hidden receipts from people's inner circles, but the real question is, How will Chrissy respond? If history tells us anything, Chrissy doesn't let betrayal slide. She's known for her explosive confrontations, for zero-tolerance policy for disrespect, and her ability to turn pain into pure rage. With the mole exposed and Brooke holding more ammo, the reunion stage is shaping up to be one of the most dangerous in reality TV history. And that's where the cliffhanger leaves us, with Chrissy vowing revenge, Brooke grinning like the cat who ate the canary, and fans asking one terrifying question when Brooke finally drops the rest of her receipts. Who else is going down with Chrissy? This isn't just Chrissy versus Brooke anymore. This is war. And there you have it, the confrontation that shook the set, spilled all over social media, and exposed the kind of betrayal Chrissy Lampkin never saw coming. From Brooke Bailey's smirk to the mole in Chrissy's own circle. This wasn't just drama. It was an all-out war. One that's about to explode even further once the rest of those receipts see the light of day. But now I want to hear from you. Whose side are you on? Is Chrissy the OG queen holding her ground against a messy newcomer who'll do anything for clout? Or do you think Brooke is just playing the game smarter, using receipts and betrayal as her weapons to take over the spotlight? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now and don't hold back. If you're riding with Chrissy and believe she's about to come back swinging harder than ever, drop a emoji. But if you think Brooke Bailey just snatched the crown and proved she's the new villainous reality TV desperately needed, flood the chat with emojis. Let's see who really runs this culture. And trust me, this story isn't even close to being over. Word is producers are already planning the reunion to be the wildest we've ever seen. With Brooke threatening to drop the rest of her screenshots in front of the entire cast. Can you imagine the chaos when those receipts hit the stage? So don't miss a second. Smash that like button if you're ready for round 2. Subscribe to the channel for every explosive update. And hit that notification bell so you're the first to know when the next bomb drops. Because if you thought this confrontation was wild, wait until the reunion. Stay tuned. The best and the messiest is yet to come. Best and the messiest is yet to come.